just how much will John Mateer matter for Oklahoma in 2025? And why do I think this team looks a lot like a team 10 years ago, 2015 Sooners? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on the step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you believe that John Mateer is going to be the guy that gets Oklahoma back to where we expect Oklahoma to be? 10-11 wins, playing the college football playoff, playing for college football national championships, we hope, but certainly playing for an SEC title. I find it fascinating that we're in this spot once again, especially with Brent Venables going into year 3. It's not been a great start with 2 losing seasons in 3 years, 1 10-win season that we quickly forget about because Oklahoma and 10 wins is like saying it's hot in the summer in Oklahoma. That's what it's been like. We could count on that. It's also a different league where we could say that. By comparison, Brent Venables, from 1999-2011, was defensive coordinator at Oklahoma. If I tell you that he won 7 conference titles and a national championship as coordinator at Oklahoma, and he could do that again in the SEC, you would take that, I think. If the next 7 years would give 7 national championships and, 7 conference championships and 1 national championship, you take that. And I think there's something like groundwork being laid here because Oklahoma's been forward on what we all know is coming. And anytime there's chaos, I always enjoy it. I enjoy chaos because I operate well in chaos. Show like mine, personality like mine, work ethic like mine, I have to take advantage of those spaces where people don't feel balanced. When things are balanced, it's really difficult to gain anything like market share. It's difficult to break through noise and have people listen to what you have to say. So when things are imbalanced, you got to take your opportunities because that's as close to fair as it's going to get. And Brent Venables said this best. It's, hey, look, we're all dealing with the same deck of cards now. Everybody knows what revenue sharing is. Everybody knows what name, image, and likeness is. And everybody knows that they have to engage in recruiting in a way that we've never had in a more volatile time in college football there's never been. Okay? Expansion of 12 teams, probably going to 16. Changing conferences and realignment. State conference, a.k.a. the Pac-12, coming back to life. And then there is the dichotomy of what Texas has been doing, what Oklahoma's been doing in what I believe is Georgia's SEC, right? I think as we look at this, it's also important to see what was working for Oklahoma when it went well with the same sort of variables at play, right? 2015, I pointed that out, is really Baker's first year to be Baker at Oklahoma. One of my favorite stories about that scout team that he was part of when he had to sit out the year when we still had, you sitting out for transferring in conference. That was one of the better scout teams I've ever been a part of, right? Or ever got to cover, I should say. Baker Mayfield, Dorial Green Beckham, I want to say Mark Andrews. I think Mixon was there too because he was serving that 1-year suspension for his incident. Is fun, right? I also looked at that schedule here recently, and I was surprised to see there are 5 ranked opponents on it. They won 4 of those games. One of them at Tennessee. That's on the schedule this year. Now, that was an early non-conference game where Tennessee didn't know what they had. Oklahoma didn't really know what they had. It was number 19 versus number 23. 19 was coming to 23 at a Neyland where it's turned into much more of a fortress than it was 10 years ago. And they're coming out of the doldrums. That's not that team anymore. It's a better football team. It's a better football program. Even without Nico Iamaleava, you might say addition by subtraction. Oklahoma, though, went through it last year. As much as I'm going to continue to beat on how injured this team was and how I believe that starts in the weight room in your winter conditioning, doesn't just all of a sudden happen when you get to start playing games. Brent went out of his way to tell everybody, look, we played a bunch of underclassmen last year. 24 of those guys are back. That's another thing, retention. They were able to keep them from transferring. They were able to keep them from warding off other offers. So you have a lot of experience on this team that matters in this competition, this SEC. 70% of last year's production is back at Oklahoma. That's top 10 in the nation. That's really, really good. Your new guys like John Mateer, Jay Knott, guys you expect to not just be good, but to elevate the play that you had. Oklahoma basically played the sport without a wide receiver, without quarterbacks last year. It's difficult. It's really hard. It's difficult to score. It's difficult to play great defense. You're also seeing Brent Venables take control of the defense, hiring 5 new assistants, most of them on the defensive side of the ball. Guys he knows, guys he trusts. Nate Dreiling and Wes Goodwin ought to mean great things for this program. The development on the defensive line, the offensive line, those are going to be better than they were last year by virtue of just having more experience. It's really difficult to play defense when you got an offense that is non-functional, and that's what it felt like Oklahoma had in basically 8 out of 12 games. And in the Alabama game, it's really Jackson Arnold being able to run away and then the defense being able to make plays on Jalen Milroe. It's a tough way to win in the SEC. You either need to be balanced or you need to be the best at running the football and playing defense. Balance being Texas, running the ball, playing defense being Georgia, who, by the way, will still throw the ball down the field. John Mateer is going to make a difference. How big a difference, we'll see. If you get the kind of play out of John Mateer this year that you got out of Baker Mayfield in 2015, talking about 3,700 yards, you're also talking about 30-plus TDs. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you Samaje Perine rushed for 1,400 yards that season. Joe Mixon had 753. Okay, you had guys on everywhere. That split back formation was lethal for them. Sterling Shepard was amazing that year. You had guys, but in Sterling Shepard, you got Deion Burks, right? Split backs, we'll see. We'll see. Who can step up next to Jay Knott? I hope it's Javonte Barnes, but if you got able to do something like that, it's going to be fun. We'll see what Ben Arbuckle draws up and how they are able to make it go. We know that the offensive line is going to be good. One of the things that also stood out to me was Brent Venables at his SEC Media Days press conference, like at the big stage, said Danny Okoye is the best athlete on our team pound for pound. That dude's got to play then. That dude's got to play. He's got to play a bunch. It's got to be him, R. Mason Thompson, and Grayson Halton. They got to be your guys. They got to get after it. They got to go. You bring in Robert Spears-Jennings, I get it, but the Bowen boys got to get after it. They got to go. There's so many things that have to work here, and you have to prove this depth because you're going to get tested. The injury rate in football is undefeated. It's going to happen. You're also going to need a guy that can get you out of bad plays and make broken plays into good ones. That's what Mateer is on campus to do. That's what Baker could do very well. You also have swagger. One of the things that Brent said about John Mateer is he feels like he's playing it fast forward, right? Sometimes a little too fast, but he's always ready to go. He's always amped up. He always wants to self-deprecate, and he's having fun out there. You need a quarterback that's having fun out there. I never got the sense that Jackson Arnold was having fun out there. Not even when he's playing well at the Alamo Bowl. It felt like there was a lot on his shoulders. It felt like he needed to live up to the potential that he showed, the talent that he'd shown, and it was much more flash in the pan than it was steady. With John Mateer, at least at Washington State, you've been able to see what steady looks like. And the competition he's going to play is there's no getting around it. It's class up. Best team they played last year when he was quarterback, Texas Tech, Boise State. These are not SEC teams. These are not teams that you are afraid of. More than that, going into other people's places to play in the SEC was something new for Oklahoma. Now you got to do that again. You got to go to Tennessee. That's going to be a game. You got to go to Alabama. It's going to be a game. LSU's coming to you, but they travel well too. This is going to be the season for which I believe we find out if the rest of this is going to work. Because just as it felt like Brent Venables was getting a handle on the off-the-field aspects of the game, right? General manager hire with Jim Nagy. Being able to recruit from the portal, being able to recruit from high school, being able to retain players he knows are good, saying all the right things, and really trying to change something like the way in which he does business. You get your AD saying, okay, after 28 years, I'm through here. Also, add to this, 26 of the 28 years, Oklahoma's gone bowling. That is Joe Castiglione right there. Going down in history as one of the greatest athletic directors that we've ever seen in college, just period. I don't think that's a stretch at all. I think Joe C is Joe C. And if he's not the guy, I don't think that Oklahoma has this sustained level of dominance for so long, because Joe Harris got to understand real quick, fast, in a hurry, look, I'm got to get on their schedule. I got to get on their wavelength. And that was cool to see a president do. Usually presidents want to come in and tell you what to do with your job. And in this, he found something that was working and said, no, how do I integrate? How do I make sure I don't mess this up for you? And they've done that. And Oklahoma's been forward on all of this, understanding that the straw that stirs the drink in the state of Oklahoma is Sooner football. Always has been Sooner football, always will be Sooner football, even as the NBA champions are in Oklahoma City. I would also like you to know, I don't think the Thunder come to Oklahoma City if OU football did not exist and we could not show what kind of rabid sports fans we are in this state. Like, I don't think the Pacers would be the Pacers today if they weren't the Pacers from years ago, right? The fact that you get an NBA franchise in a city and a state like Oklahoma in the 21st century is wild. It shouldn't be a thing, right? We should have gone the way of the Vancouver Grizzlies, but we didn't. We are that program. We are that team. We have shown over and over again that we lay out for our teams if they lay out for us. And nobody understands that more than Brent Venables. When I listen to Brent talk, it's easy to feel like you got your senior pastor up there. It's also easy to feel like it's a man for which you cannot please because everything he does is to the letter and everything he does is to perfection. I guarantee you nobody's hurting more than he's been hurting. And to let a guy go, right, Ben Arbuckle, and say, hey, I'm just going to take my hands off of you and say, I'm going to put my hands on the defense. You got to trust that guy. And in that regard, I think it's a lot like what Bob Stoops was able to do with his offensive coordinators from Mike Leach all the way on up, right? I'm also looking at this, and Kevin Wilson's on staff. Kevin Wilson, who knows from coaching against Brent Venables week in and week out as offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they're going to be really good, and nobody's better in a film room than Kevin Wilson. A lot of things that I think are going well, right, for OU right now. And the material part of it is going to matter because if you get out of him what I think you get out of him, yeah, you're playing at the highest level. I am somehow worried, though, that we still have not figured out, Oklahoma fans, I mean, what our expectations must be in this league. It ain't the Big 12. I've been saying that, feels very obvious to say. But it ain't the Big 12. There ain't but two other teams you got to beat, right? Texas being one of them. It's 12 teams in this league that are good. Not okay, good. Missouri is good. A&M is good. Auburn will be good. Florida's good. LSU's good. Goodness me, man. South Carolina's good. God damn it. So is Oklahoma. I'm from Tulsa. I live in Tulsa. I was born on Tinker, was raised in Hattiesburg. I live in Tulsa. Tulsa's my hometown. I'm tired of having to show people. I'm tired of having to tell people what Oklahoma's like. I'm tired of having to tell people what tough looks like in this state. I'm tired of having to tell people we want it more than you. It's past time to show that. It's past time. Enough is enough, boys. Enough is enough. Crimson and cream needs to mean fear again. Yeah, this is the fan in me. This is not the analyst part. This is not the analyst part. I did the analyst part before, and I'll continue to do the analyst part after. It's getting on my nerves, boys. It's getting on my nerves. Tighten up. Tighten up. Six and 7 won't stand. 8 and 5 won't stand. Tighten up.